Welcome dears, welcome to the course doing qualitative research. Let us talk about its first topic, why we do qualitative research in education. Here is a truth nobody talks about. Numbers lie. Grades, pass percentages, attendance statistics can hide the reality. You might see a 90% completion rate in a PhD program, but that number never tells you how many students cried silently through the night, or how many supervisors gave up on mentoring because of workload pressures. That is why qualitative research is not just a method, it is a lens, a way to look deeper. By the end of this talk, you will understand why, without qualitative research, we only ever get half of the story. So the question is, what qualitative research really is? Let us begin with the basics. Quantitative research asks how many, how often, or the numbers. Qualitative research asks why, how, what does it feel like? It is about experiences, emotions, and stories. In higher education, that might mean sitting with PhD candidates to explore their challenges in writing a thesis, especially for new researchers, talking about supervisors, about obstacles they face in guiding dissertations, again, especially to new students. It includes observing how university culture, its politics, hierarchy, and social networks shape the quality of academic work. Here is a sharp comparison. A survey might say 40% of students delay thesis submission, but qualitative research uncovers they lacked timely mentorship, felt concerned about unclear guidelines, and had no access to proper resources in the university. That is completely a different picture. So, let us talk about some points. Point one is qualitative research uncovers causes behind statistics, not just the numbers themselves. Point two, it lets us hear the students' voices, which are often lost in institutional reports. Then let us focus why education needs qualitative research. In universities, especially at PhD level, we are not just counting outcomes, we are shaping lives and futures. So we need to ask, how does a first generation PhD student feel when navigating research in an unfamiliar academic culture of a university? Why does thesis evaluation sometimes feel unfair, inconsistent, or even biased? What makes supervisors abandon promising good research methods and push students towards safer topics and methods? Numbers cannot answer these questions. Now we come to point 3 about qualitative research. Qualitative research highlights inequalities in academic systems like bias in viva evaluations or access to mentorship facilities. Point 4, it gives insight into hidden struggles such as imposter syndrome, research isolation, and lack of academic belonging. Let me talk about imposter syndrome. It is a persistent feeling of self-doubt, a fear of being exposed as a fraud despite clear evidence of one's competence and achievement. Think of a PhD student who has published the paper in a good or high impact factor journal, but he secretly thinks that I just got lucky. If people read my paper carefully, they would realize that I'm not as good. Why it happens? Because system puts our students under doubt about their capacity. So imposter syndrome is very clearly is about self-doubt, especially the students. So let's come to the point 5. Policies shaped without qualitative input often fail because they ignore the context, and things happen in context always. Point 6 says universities that embed qualitative feedback in their decisions have higher students' retention and satisfaction. Seventh point is qualitative research reveals biases and blind spots in systems and numbers cannot catch. Point 8 is it makes invisible struggles visible, turning silent suffering into actionable insights. So behind every percentage is a person, behind every person is a story. So point 9 is qualitative insights can produce PhD dropout rates by exposing systematic flaws in the institution, and that too at early stages. The point 10 is they improve institutional reputation by building cultures of care and fairness. So here is my final message. Next time when you read a statistic, pause. Do not just ask what is happening. Ask why is it happening? How does it feel? Because numbers will always tell you one part of the story. Qualitative research tells you the rest, the human, emotional, or living truth. If you believe research is about people, not just percentages, support qualitative research, because in the end, research is not just about producing knowledge, it is about shaping, and those lives are made of stories worth telling. Thank you.